popping in this February season to remind you that February is a threshold month. It's a trickster month. It'll send you some warm weather and convince you that it is spring. And I fall for it almost every year, except my love. Winter's not done with you yet. Winter's invitation to still and slow and go within and steward the soil of your soul before you leap into action in this false, tricky, wintry spring. So, my love, the promise of winter's invitation is to allow this stillness and this silence and this cocooning that you and I do to fill us, not empty us, even though it creates spaciousness if we let it. But this is the season to continue to let your soul fill you with clarity, to empty out of what is in the way, to remove the barriers, to continue to steward what is beneath the surface that is readying itself for the spring, the courage, the connection, the communion with your divinity. And as Rumi teaches us, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. As Telhard reminds us, above all else, trust the slow work of God. And as the Jewish psalmists sang in the ancient text, be still and know God. This is the invitation that is still being offered in this winter season. And I am going to be just returning from my retreat in Egypt, and I'm so excited to share the fruits of that time with you as you and I choose to gather up the fruits of the winter season and really deepen our practice of silence and solitude, what I call our opportunity to become more intimate with our own divine nature, the God within. And I'm teaching a 4-week class beginning this month. So join me. You can be in person or online here in the Albuquerque area. All the details are on our website, abqcsl.org. So before the light of change that we are all longing for, first there's the dark. From Genesis, the Jewish and Christian creation story. The earth was formless and void. Darkness was over the face of the deep. Then God spoke, "Let there be light." From Hinduism, before creation, there is undifferentiated stillness. From indigenous traditions from all over the United States, from Turtle Island, many of the stories begin in darkness underground or underwater or in the womb of the earth, before the emergence of the light, before the emergence of the life we know. In ancient Egyptian cosmology, creation rises out of the silent primordial waters of darkness. In Greek cosmology, in the beginning there is chaos, but not the chaos we understand. It's actually defined and translated as vast emptiness. And from the creation surah of Islam, from the smoke, the formlessness, undifferentiated space created earth and heaven. From the Nordic tradition, a silent void exists before fire and before the spark of life begins. Silence and then sound. Darkness and then light. Winter and then spring. Womb and then birth. This is the nature of things. We would love to believe that we could somehow just leap over the dark part, just skip the whole gestation period. And yet there's this piece of life, this absolute necessity that before the sprout can emerge, before the light begins, before sound brings us into formed creation, there is stillness. There is no thing. There is silence. There is the dark. There is the primordial water or the diffused space that we first must be in relationship with. We can't rush winter because we like spring better. Right? We have to be willing to be with the nature of things. We want the new world now. This suffering sucks. It sucks. I hate it. I just want everybody to act right now. Yes. Forget the fall of empire. Forget apocalypse. Just get your shit together. Okay. And yet there is this pattern throughout the history of humanity that has happened every time empire falls. And it's not going to be different this time. And we are suffering. And we want it to be over. And we want people to act right. We also think we know what that is. But what I understand about the dark, about the womb, is because it is holy, because it is the beginning of new life, the potential of what is to come, this is our chance, this is our moment. This is our moment to ground and root into that darkness, into the holy void, into the formless formed of God. To root so deep, to be so fortified by what is there in the silence, in the dark, in the womb, in the primordial waters of life itself. That when we are ready to do the work of sprouting, of emerging, of building the fantastic future we all long for and deserve, we will be so well nourished and ready to be better, to be the love that we have been designed to be. We are the seeds of that fantastic future. We are the planters and we are the seeds. But we have to be willing to do the work of rooting ourselves, of staying in that quiet, dark, unknown, mysterious space. The primordial waters where there's no ground under our feet quite yet. And grow our roots deep and strong. Grow our roots like an aspen grove because we are all connected in this place. There's one life, which means there's one primordial water that you and I all emerge from. And so our roots can connect and entangle with each other and fortify each other in this work, but we've got to be willing to bring ourselves back from the programming and the misbeliefs and the inherited BS that would have us believe that we have to rush and fight and break it and us and them till we die. And yet there's this other invitation in the holy quiet. It says, my darling, come close to me, rest here for a moment. Let me help you remember what came before the crazy. Let me help you remember before you leap from your bed to go fight the good fight. Let me help you remember the truth of who you are so that she's the one who goes to meet what must be met. So your wholeness, your nature,
The greatest force you have as a divine being that is the life of love itself, that's what goes to meet the fall of empire. That's who shows up as the love that is needed to help the suffering. I've been thinking a lot about hope. And I think it's an odd thing to ask you to, go get dark first. Go get into the quiet and go get into the silence. For me, the ask is go get there to find the hope that is the hope that will actually carry you in this time. Stop hoping that you're going to stop the fall of empire. Stop hoping that you're going to somehow stop the crumbling systems. Instead, hang on to the hope you can find in this holiness that you are better, that we are better, that the nature of all of us is good. And as it falls, as systems crumble, as it all falls apart, we get to remember through this process of rooting into the primordial waters of our beginnings, we get to root into that instead of a false narrative of what success is, of what society is, of what these cultural norms that have been created that are absolute BS. Let it fall. Stop trying to stop the fall. Let it fall. But be the love that is needed as it falls. This is my hope for us. My hope for us is that because it's crumbling, because it's falling apart, we accept the invitation that is here for us every winter and every night to unplug, to turn off for a moment and come back to the beginning of yourself, to the holiness that birthed you here for purpose and meaning and a felt experience of love itself, and that is not crumbling. It's not possible for that to fall apart. But maybe in this unsure place, maybe as the ground falls away from our feet and we are left in the primordial waters of the love, maybe we can let all of that shifting earth be the invitation to go deeper into what is true, into what is everlasting and unchanging and always available. I want to share a poem from Rumi with you. I shared this with our leadership team yesterday, and they were like, I don't get it. That poem's too much. And I was like, whatever, I'm using it anyways. I love it. So we're going to use this poem, and I will break it down, I promise. I won't leave you alone in it. But just maybe close your eyes for a moment and let these words sink in beyond your overthinking mind. You have lived on the lip of insanity, wanting to know reasons, knocking on a door. It opens. You've been knocking from the inside. Keep walking, though there's no place to go. Don't try to see through the distances. That's not for human beings. Move within. But don't move the way fear makes you move. You are song, a wished for song. Go through the ear to the center where sky is, where wind, where silence, knowing. Put seeds and cover them. Blades will sprout where you do your work. And remember her. And keep your balance. So let's start at the beginning. I think this part is really self-explanatory. You've lived on the lip of insanity. We are living on the lip of insanity. Yet, it says, Of course, keep walking. Of course, keep living. Of course, keep moving. But there's nowhere to go. Relax. You are not here to fix it. You are here to be the truth of who you are. Any solution we need to care for one another, to love one another better, is in our true nature. It is not outside of us. We've been knocking from the inside. Everything we need to live into the better future we want for everyone is within each one of us. Rumi goes on to say, move within, but don't move how fear moves. Don't contract and restrict and shrink and get so small and unwilling to be soft and open that you can't find what is true in you. The thing in you that wants to emerge anew, the new life that is waiting to come through as you, can only come because you're not moving as fear moves. You're moving as love moves. You're knocking on the inside of your own self, being willing to find more of who you are, more courageously, more fortified, because you are so deeply rooted in what is divine about you. Then Rumi goes on to say, you are a song, but not you are a song, you are a song, but a wished for song. I want you to think about that for a moment, that you and you and you and you and you and you and you, that life itself is longing for your life, for your expression. From the stillness, from the silence, from the diffuse space, from the no thing, from the dark waters, emerged life. New life. From you rooted, from you connected, from you emerging the new life you are longing for. And life itself is longing for the life you are longing for. Because you are the seed. You are the one that needs to blossom and bloom into life and bring the song that is your song to the rest of us. That is the divine design. Rumi then says, go to the ear. Go to your ear to go to the center. And you will find there the wind. You will find there the silent knowing. You will find the sky. As the Egyptian cosmology evolved to what we kind of know today, the Isis and the Osiris and all of the different gods, the original primordial waters, who was Nun, became Nut and Geb, the sky and the earth. And they were lovers who did not want to be separated. They were quite happy to be together. And the wind, Shu, came in and blew them apart so that the earth and the sky could be created. You are here because it's a miracle that we have breath in our bodies, that we are made of earth and sky, quite literally. And there is a longing for your true expression. Life is longing for you. We are longing for you to show up as the holiness that you have been designed to be. And finally, Rumi says, from this place where you have gone to the center and recognized that you've been knocking from within and that you have a longing that needs to be offered to life itself, because life is longing for your expression, Rumi says, put seeds and cover them. Not put seeds and then dig them back up to see how they're doing. Not plant seeds and then walk away and forget that you planted them, or get busy with something else and leave them to die. Plant seeds and cover them. And blades will sprout where you do your work. I bolded that part. Where you do your work. This requires labor, my friends. This requires work. But because we do the work that is inherently ours connected to do in the primordial waters and the one moving ground that is the divine potential of life, where you do your work, blades will sprout, Rumi says. But you got to do the work. You have to take the time out to go sit in the silence. You have to find the place in your life where you can unplug and take your attention back from the fear-mongering and the division and the polarity and the horror, to come back what is most true. Because the only thing in you that has enough strength to sustain the fall, to love through the crumbling, is there, rooted in that quiet, dark place. And when you do that work, the new life you long for, the new world we all long for, can sprout. This is how I like to call the triple F's, the flippin' fantastic future. This is how that becomes the manifest reality of our lives. Because we do the work that allows it to sprout. And as Clarissa shared in the story earlier, and it may take years. And we may not see the sprouts in our lifetime. And still we do the work. Still we are the seeds. Still we go into the dark and cover ourselves in the love of the divine, in the quiet stillness, in the presence of that holiness. And that is the work. So then you can show up and say yes to whatever is yours to say yes to out here. And then the final line of the poem is, remember her and find your balance. Remember her. Remember the womb that you were gestating in before you got here. Remember the love that is the womb of all of life, the primordial waters that came before any creation. Remember her. Remember her when you're out in the world and it is falling apart and the suffering seems too great to bear. Remember her when you're thinking that you don't know what to do. You don't know how to meet the need. Remember her and find your balance. Because in that place, you will always know what to do. You will always know what is yours and what isn't. Why is it so critical for you to understand your place in nature, in her? It's not just because you will become the fullness of your holy self. It's not just because it's the good and right spiritual thing to do. It's not just because this is how the future we actually want to be living into can come into form. That's not even why. It is because so you get to understand your absolute and holy connection to all that is. That you have always been in community, you have never been alone. She has been with you this whole time. Spirit itself has been the ground that falls and the ground that catches you. The breath that has animated your life force, the thought that said, yes, a Jan, a Dino. The why for me, and I hope for you, is to understand that you have never been alone. You are not alone now. And it is the beginning of community. It is the nature of community, is the inherent connectedness to one life. There is one life. We all came from the same primordial waters, and we are all returning to that same void. So we are in community, period. That is the truth of the design. And the great illness of our time, I believe, of every civilization, of every empire that has fallen, is forgetting that that is what is true. That we have always been one community. We have always been one life. There has always been a holy, holy beginning, and there will always be a holy end. And that when we remember her and come back into harmony, harmony is another word for balance in this situation. When we come into harmony with this truth, we come into harmony with our belonging to this one life and to one another. Everything we think is beyond repair comes back into balance. Harmony is the balance we get to create together. We get to bring our songs together in harmony. We get to remember that community is more than a buzzword. It is the truth of who we are. It is the truth of life. We have always been connected. And anything that takes you away from this truth, any noise, any rushing, any hurrying, any overproductivity, overthinking, any shock doctrine that we are falling prey to, simply must get out of the way of the truth. Because when you come into harmony first with the community within you, the community of the love that brought you here, you will come into harmony with the community all around you, with the plants and the trees, with the life in the ground and the waters and the sky and the air and one another. There's always been one life and one community that we belong to and have the great honor to participate in. But before movement, there's stillness. Before sound, there's silence. Before spring, there's winter. And before we birth the new life, the new direction we want to move in, the new self we want to bring to life, there is the womb, where we can rest, where we can root, and we can remember our inherent connection to the love that is, and the life that we have been invited to create together. This is our work. It's a holy work. Silence and solitude is far more than just meditation. And I really, 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 really want you to do the work of silence and solitude. So find your way to it. Use the tools that we provide. Come take class with me. Get in community and practice together. Because this harmony that we want to see in the world starts with the harmony in our own bodies and our own voices. and our own vibrations, the frequency we are rolling with out into the world, that's the harmony we have to start with. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer. When we take on the responsibility to do the work that allows the emergent life that we really want for us and for all. There is no stopping the good. And to wrap up our time together today, I want to share with you our blessing for the month, our community blessing. May you find a quiet place inside yourself today, a soft room of breath and belonging, where love is already waiting for you. May this inward sanctuary be your resting place, your place of divine connection, your place of love, wisdom, and grace. May it be so. Thanks for being with us today, everybody. Thank you.